Hi everyone, I am Dr. B. Rani, Assistant Professor Management Studies at Behaviour Hyderabad College of Engineering for Women. Today we are going to discuss perception in organization behavior. In organizations, employees do not respond to situations directly. They respond to how they perceive those situations. For example, when a manager assigns extra work, one employee may perceive it as trust and responsibility, while another may perceive it as pressure. This difference in reaction occurs because of perception. Let us define what a perception is. Perception is the process by which individuals organize and interpret their sensory impressions in order to give meaning to their environment. Let us study the factors influencing the perception. Factors influencing perception can be broadly classified into three categories: the perceiver, the target, and the situation. Now, let us first look at the perceiver. Attitudes of the perceiver are going to affect the perception. For example, a manager with a positive attitude towards change may see new policies as opportunities, while others may see them as threats. Similarly, motives influence what we notice. A promotion-seeking employee may focus more on performance feedback. Similarly, in case of interest, they are going to guide the attention. People are more likely to notice things related to their personal or professional interest. Past experience shape the interpretation. Previous success or failure influences how the current situations are perceived, and expectations also matter. Same is the case in the target. So, background of the target is important. Physical and time proximity also is going to influence the perception. Novelty, motion, the sounds, as well as the size, whether it is bigger object or a smaller object, it is going to affect the perception. Then, in case of the environment, the time also plays a major role which is going to influence this perception. Work environment in which that particular employee is working, social environment with whom he is with, then light as well as heat of that particular environment. All these factors are going to influence the perception of that individual. Now, let us study the importance of perception. So, perception helps in understanding the variations in an individual behavior. As an employee in an organization or as a manager in an organization, you can easily understand the variations in an individual behavior. This, in turn, is going to predict the behavior of that particular individual, with which you can go for assessing the various needs of the people as a manager. Now, let us get into the perceptual process. Perception process generally has got 6 main steps here. The first step includes receiving, then selecting, organizing, interpreting, checking, and then reacting. So, the first step of an perceptual process is receiving. How do you receive the information? An individual receives the information from his sensory organs, then that stimuli is being received from that of the external environment or the outer environment. And this stimuli, whatever is being received, they are going to serve as inputs for the process of the perception. Then, the second stage is selecting. Individuals generally are going to filter or screen out whatever the irrelevant things that are there and select only which are relevant with them, depending upon their existing beliefs, depending upon the values what they make, as well as the needs of the individual. And this total process, we call it as an perceptual selectivity. Now, in perceptual selectivity, there are many external factors which are going to influence this perceptual selectivity. Size is one of the factor. Intensity with which that particular environment is. If something is repeated, that repetition is also going to affect it. The contrast, movement, novelty and familiarity. So these are the external factors which are going to influence the perception. Then apart from this external factors, we have internal factors also which are going to influence. Internal factors like learning, needs of the individual, age of that particular individual and his or her interests. So these factors are going to influence the perception. The third stage is organizing. After selecting the stimuli, individuals try to organize that information into a meaningful pattern. And this process we call it as an perceptual organization. So while organizing takes place, so it can be because of the figure and ground, it can be the perceptual grouping, it can be perceptual difference as well as perceptual constancy. So when we study with the figure and ground, so generally this principle states that the perceived object stands out from its background. So the figure is different from that of the background. So this is how the selection takes place. Then perceptual grouping. It refers to grouping the stimuli into meaningful patterns. So when you are make it as a meaningful pattern, so similarity grouping would be there. Grouping in terms of proximity, distance, as well as we try to close that and continuity. So these are the four different types of grouping principles which are given by Gestalt. Now we have perceptual difference. So this principle states that the individual tends to build a defense against the stimuli which are conflicting, which are also threatening and which are unacceptable. So that particular individual is going to defend that. We call it as a perceptual defense. Then comes the constancy. So this principle lays on the individuals how they see the object, whether despite any changes in the environment. Shape constancy, size constancy and color constancy. Now, the next stage of the perceptual process is interpretation. It is the stage where the individuals assign meaning to the information based upon their experience and beliefs. Now, when we study about this interpretation, so there are certain factors which are going to influence this perceptual interpretation. The first factor is perceptual set, then stereotyping, halo effect, projection, attribution. So all these 5 factors are going to influence the perceptual interpretation. Now let us study each and every factor. Perceptual set is considered to be a mental predisposition to perceive one thing and not the another thing. So mentally we make it that we need to perceive that and we are going to stick only to that particular set. Stereotyping is the individuals try to judge based upon a particular attribute of that particular group. Then in case of halo effect, we are going to judge a person based upon a trait. And projection, the tendency of assigning your own attributes to that of the others. Then attribution refers to the process of assigning the causes to the behavior, whether this is right or not. So you try to assign the causes to the behavior of an individual and that is the factor that is going to influence your interpretation. The next step is checking. In the checking stage, individuals, they try to verify whatever they have interpreted before reacting. And comes the last stage of reacting, which is considered to be the final stage where individuals act based upon their perception. If the perception is positive, the behavior will be cooperative. But if the perception is negative, the behavior may be defensive or resistant. So this is all about perception. Thank you.